is Michigan. Boy, we haven't had this easy of a show prep in a long time.
Sign Steeler guy.
Now, I know Michigan fan comes in and says, oh, it's all bullshit, Monty. You're making it up.
Yeah, it's fake news.
Back-to-back natties, bitch.
Nah.
Okay. So now that the actual notice of allegations have been dropped on Michigan, and now that we know that you have Sharon Moore labeled as a repeat offender, and that you have multiple level 1 violations lobbed by the NCAA at Michigan and staffers, and those staffers are all now allegedly, cooperating with the NCAA outside of Jimmy. There's nowhere to hide from this Connor Stallions scandal, because it is going to be a really difficult road ahead for the next several seasons for Michigan. I think there is no question about that. Sharon Moore himself is probably going to face significant penalties because he is a repeat offender. I think you are looking at a situation where, you deleted text messages, and the NCAA has essentially said it doesn't matter what was in the text messages. You deleted them in an effort to hide them. So you did not initially cooperate. Now Sharon is cooperating, has turned over those text messages. He is working with the NCAA. But what's amazing to me here is who's not working with the NCAA, who is not taking their medicine. Well, that'd be the University of Michigan. And it's a little surprising to me that the University of Michigan is going to continue to fight these Connor Stallions allegations, where you fired him and you're still disputing the facts. You have a coach that left you high and dry after you tried to make him the highest paid coach in the history of college football. And one of his demands was what? Shield me from any NCAA punishment. And you said no. And he left. And you're still fighting it. You're now heir apparent to Jimmy Cheatergate is Sharon Moore, who is admitting his involvement, cooperating with the NCAA, and you at the university level are still fighting it. And it's only going to make it more difficult. It is only going to drag it out, which I understand that is a defense strategy. Drag it out as long as you can. Drag it out. Okay, great. You're only hurting your program, because there is no doubt now that you got slapped in the face by the COVID dark period recruiting violations. Jim Harbaugh got a 4-year show cause and a year suspension. Your head coach that you wanted to make the highest paid head coach in college football history. Captain America. He got a 4-year show cause and a year suspension. What do you think it's going to be when the integrity of the game is supposedly what they're arguing against you? There's no way for you to fight this. And I think it is a really bad look. A really bad look for Jim Harbaugh, for Sharon Moore, for Denard Robinson, for all of these coaches. But isn't this even a worse look for the University of Michigan?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know why you would continue to put yourself in this position. Why continue to defend the guy? Why continue to, I guess, be in denial about what happened? I mean, why not just take the punishment and move on from it? I don't know. Like, what are you hoping to get out of this? What are you hoping happens through this whole situation? Are you hoping that somehow this just goes away? Because it's not just going to go away. That's not how this works. So to me, I'm just as surprised as everybody. I think it's a terrible look for Michigan. I think that you're not getting away from it. And I don't know. There's only one way this finishes out, which is you getting punished, and that's just what it is. You're going to struggle, man. You're going to be on the struggle bus for probably 5 years at least. That's what we're talking about. So I just think you're making it more difficult than it needs to be. If you would just say, yes, this happened. This is what took place. What's the punishment going to be? We've seen this time and time again with the NCAA. If you admit what you did, your punishment's going to be less. If you fight, your punishment is going to be far worse. And obviously they're fighting. So I just don't understand it at all.
I think it's tactically a mistake. At this point, I would be trying to, if I were Michigan, I'd be trying to get this over with as soon as possible, because you're going to only make it worse, in my opinion. I think you're probably looking at a 2-year postseason ban. And I still maintain they're not going to vacate wins. They're not going to vacate a championship. They're going to prevent you from winning another one anytime soon. And if that was all you got, was a 2-year postseason ban, it would be, is crippling too strong of a word? Can't go to the postseason, can't compete for a championship, which ultimately means you can't recruit. You're going to have trouble making money. I mean, it's a devastating 2-year playoff ban is devastating.
Yeah.
But then you're probably going to face scholarship reductions, staff reductions. You probably are going to face recruiting restrictions where you can't off campus. You're limited to how many on campus visits. Like, that's what you're facing now. And if you continue to fight and you continue to use abrasive language, I think you're only making it worse.
Yep.
And I think Jim Harbaugh doesn't even matter what he gets, because he's never coaching in college again.
Yeah, I mean, he's not getting anything. He got over. They may, lay
What did
out
his
a bunch of
attorney
stuff.
say? Why does it matter? You're coaching in the NFL now.
Yeah, and so the only question for Jim is going to be, what's the NFL going to do about it? Because the NFL doesn't want to be seen as a, hey, pull a bunch of crap in college and then come to us for the rescue.
Come to us for a pay raise.
Yeah.
And again, Jim Tressel, Terrell Pryor, I think Jim Harbaugh will be punished by the NFL. And I think the NFL almost has no choice but to do that. So, plotting and methodical. This is when I talk about how flawed the discipline process is. So you delivered the notice of allegations. Now Michigan has 90 days to reply. 90. It's
a long time, man.
It's 3 months to reply. Why not 30 days to reply? It's wild to me. I understand you need time to get your stuff together. 30 days is more than enough. 30 days is more than enough. I think this is going to be really difficult for Michigan to overcome. And it's why I think this is one of the most important years in the history of Michigan football. Because a year from now, I think these penalties are doled out. I think Michigan has to find a way to get into the college football playoff this year. And I think that's going to be really tough to do.
Yeah.
I think it is, because you can't possibly expect a guy like Sharon Moore to perform at his best or at his highest with the way the game is being played. And again, I just go back to Michigan and I say, what were you thinking here with Jim Harbaugh? And I know it's crazy, and I know that a lot of people always ask me and tell me that I'm biased against Michigan, but I just ask you, Michigan, who are you? Where is your soul? Where is your soul? Because you gave it to Jim Harbaugh and he left you high and dry. Are you still that same university? Santa Ono, are you still that same administrator that sold out to the devil in Jim Harbaugh? That's the question that's got to be answered, because if you are a Michigan supporter, if you are somebody that lives for Saturday football, if you are somebody that goes to the big house and buys those tickets, is this the Michigan that you've supported? I have a hard time believing that it is. Are you proud to call yourself a Michigan fan when you are rooting for a university that wanted to make Jim Harbaugh the highest paid coach in the history of the game, and yet he left because you would not insulate him from NCAA penalties? Is that who you are? I don't believe that the average Michigan fan is like, yep, that's who we are. Damn right. Win at all cost. I don't think that that's what the integrity of the University of Michigan looks like. And Michigan now, and as much as I feel like it's utopic, and I am telling you right now, Michigan's got to show us who they really are. Are you still that institution of higher learning with a really high moral value. Because now I think all of us that are outside of your little maize and blue world, now we all see who you are. When you lift the maize and blue glasses, you get a real look at the fact that you tried to make Jim Harbaugh the highest paid coach in the history of the game after you knew the recruiting dark period violations, after you knew that he did not cooperate with the NCAA, after you knew he was not forthcoming and honest with the NCAA. And you still tried to make him the highest paid coach after the overwhelming preponderance of evidence that we broke the news on this show that during last fall, when the NCAA and the Big Ten were in communication and the NCAA and the Big Ten were sharing information, that the evidence against Connor Stallions and the Michigan program was overwhelming. You still tried to make this guy the highest paid coach in the history of the game. You're going to have to now sell us that you are something other than people who cheat and lose and cheat and then start winning. So you cheat more and then you win, and then you try to reward the people who cheated because they couldn't win in a forthcoming honest style and fashion.
Cheating, lying, and then playing the victim.
That's all you ever were.
That's what you're going to have to prove. You're going to have to prove to America that you're something other than a lying, cheating fuck, because that's what Michigan appears to be now.
Yeah, and I think Michigan had the opportunity to separate themselves as an institution from Jim. But now that you've chosen to go down this route,
and you tried to have him be the honorary captain of a game.
Then he said, oh, no, I can't do that because, Chargers.
So you are still embracing this guy.
Come on, man.
You're going to have to show us that you're something other than those liars and those cheaters. Because I can tell you, as I told you then, I will tell you now, people inside those walls do not agree with that. People inside on that faculty, the staff, the advisors, the people that make Michigan the university that it is, because it is a quality institution. Those people don't want Jim Harbaugh back on campus. The true academic elites. Do you really think that those people wanted a University of Michigan law grad, a football alumni, to hear your temporary restraining order case? Because I was told, and we talked about it on the show, that those people did not want that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard it time and time again, whether it's Michigan or other, issues at universities over the last 18 months, that academia, doesn't give a damn about, winning football games or winning per se for the sake of winning. All they want is for the school to be represented properly. And Michigan, that's the shame in the whole thing. Michigan had, as a university, had the opportunity to get away from this and say, you know what? Yes, it did happen at our university, but we were unaware at the highest levels of of Michigan's leadership as a school. We were unaware of what Jim and everyone was doing. So now that we are aware, yeah, let's go ahead and get this handled.
And in the comment section, here's the question I have for you, and I think it's incredibly important. Do you believe that Michigan would have won a national championship, would have beat the Ohio State or any other major program? Do they win those games if Connor Stallions doesn't do what Connor Stallions did? I don't believe that they would have, because as I have said plainly on this show, Jim Harbaugh did not do it before then. He did not develop talent. He did not have the schematics, the football program in totality to beat Ohio State, to beat the biggest and the baddest. And then all of a sudden you got their signs. And this is what I believe happened. You got their signs. You knew what play they were calling. All of a sudden you knew how to tackle and be in the right gap and in the right flat. And I don't believe they win a national championship without those signals.
Without the edge you were given.
And you may say, well, hey, Marty, they didn't know the plays. But what is the product of having the intel for a year and a half, let's say, on the field? If you are the best linebacker on that team, the best corner, the best defensive lineman, specifically on defense, because I think defense won them that championship. Well, it changes you as a football player. It builds confidence. It builds tenacity. Your balls expand.
Yes.
You play with courage,
Yes.
determination.
Because you don't have to worry about being wrong.
And so when that information stops flowing towards you, that doesn't mean you lose confidence. That doesn't mean your balls all of a sudden shrink. You're a different football player because you had the confidence in the edge. It made them a better football team. They don't win those games without that sign stealing information guy on the sideline at Central Michigan, allegedly.
Sign stealer guy.
Completely agree, man. And it's you know, I think when you got to the college football playoff, like when you played, you know, Bama, like I don't think sign stealing is why you won that game. I think Bama's lack of execution. I think there were a lot of things that led to you winning that game. But through the regular season, yeah, the Ohio State games, yes, absolutely, positively, 100%. They're on tape. You can clearly see Stallions is on the sideline right next to the play callers. He's giving them the intel. They feed it to the defense. The defense adjusts, and all of a sudden they're right in the right spot. I mean, it's plain as day. And I think you're going to see that bear out through this process with the NCAA. You're going to see that they're going to show you, hey, we have video evidence of what you're doing. So I just don't think you're getting away from it.
Yeah. I think that is. I think
you're
that
still going to fight.
Very true. Mike Smith, guys. I was told nothing would happen to Michigan, and Cheeseburger Gate was nothing. Dude, those kids needed to eat.
They were hungry.
Jim loves the kids.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
I mean, he loves the kids so much, it's surprising he didn't coach at Penn State.
Yeah.
But that's a different show. My point is,
Macaque.
these kids were hungry.
Right.
They needed cheeseburgers. Jimmy wasn't recruiting. He was helping. He was loving and caring. Jimmy would never commit a violation. These were just cheeseburgers for hungry kids. What are you talking about?
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
I can't believe you would say something to the contrary. Come on, the Penn State line. Are you kidding me? Off the top of my head? Dude. Are you kidding me?
The cock.
Justin Bemis, the entire veteran coaching staff at Michigan is forever tarnished with this. No dignity or integrity left at all. Totally agree. Roche, hello. I think OSU and others have cheated as well in the past. They just didn't get caught. But again, it's what I always say. How do you know they cheated in the past? Oh, I don't. How do I know Michigan cheated? Well, the evidence is overwhelming, and Connor Stallions is stupid.
Yeah.
So he used a public Venmo account, and I know how we know. The people he sent to stadiums, yeah, they did interviews. Oh, I know how they know. Yeah, publicly available, cloud account. Oh, I know how they know. Because University of Michigan fucking fired the guy.
Oh.
That's how we know he cheated. Everybody, in all likelihood, I don't mean to be a cynic. Everybody's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
At that level of competition in cash, everybody's cheating. But how flagrantly arrogant are you that you don't even use a Venmo account like Patricia Jones? You put it in your own name.
Kayshawn Booty 007.
How stupid are you? And Michigan was so brazen about it. Yes. Brandon Butler, hello. It's as plain as Ryan Day, Michigan cheated and benefited from it. And it wasn't just against the good teams in the 12. No, it was not. They beat the hell out of Rutgers. I think that Rutgers game is where it ended. I think, and I was told that they shellacked Rutgers. And I mean, not only did they make the play, then they stomped on his balls.
Yeah.
Like they knew, guy, come on. Are you out of your mind? Sean Schrock. Come on, Monty. Jim's a Michigan man.
Yeah.
He's Captain America. Jim, number 4. He's Jim Harbaugh.
Got to be America's team.
He's got the wings and the shit on his helmet that nobody
Just the
understands.
stalwartness.
Bo Schembechler. What about Elvis Gerbach, you prick? I don't know. That's the only other. Tom Brady's a Michigan man. No, he's
Yeah.
not. Nobody at Michigan claims Tom Brady. Because, well, he cheated too. So he probably
Okay.
learned that at Michigan.
Deflategate and stuff.
You know, soft balls,
Yeah.
pliable.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, it is so remarkable to me that you have that Michigan fans stand on this guy and they're like, just put the nails through his feet, Monty. You're crucifying him. Jesus Christ incarnate. Jim
kick
Harbaugh.
the person when he's down.
He's a hero. I'm sure he's not. I'm
next
sure he's
question.
not. You really is. Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Jim Harbaugh's a man of integrity.
Sure.
He makes boys into men.
Where are we at in society today?
Oh my God.
Sure.
Tanner Plummer. Jim is the real Wolverine. More over Hugh Jackson.
Who's Hugh Jackson?
You mean the football coach? He's Captain Weefence.
Hugh Janus.
I believe you mean Huge Jackman, otherwise known as Preston Stone. I get a laugh out of Michigan fan at this point. It's funny. Yeah, the immunity clause he wanted was not real. No way Michigan could just ignore NCAA punishment just because they added a clause on his contract.
Yeah.
We're still going to pay you in fall here at Michigan. Oh, Jimmy, don't leave us.
And it sucks.
Oh, God, Jim, come back.
I just try to stand strong.